Is it on? Are we going? Twitter connected. Facebook is now connected. Twitch, thinking about it. There it is. Twitch is there. YouTube is there. Hello. What happened there? My computer just freaked out and everything froze completely, which is a bit sucky. Hopefully, everyone that was on will be able to find the new one. Because I had to close that stream down. I've had to start a new one. So hopefully, I'm going to see these counts start going up on my screen saying people have connected. I hope. Nobody at the moment though. Make sure that I haven't got 2 live streams going. Go to my channel. Hey, we've got one on YouTube. Hello. You found my new stream. I don't know what happened. It all went completely wrong. Everything died. Just making sure I haven't got 2 live streams running. Because that would be no my luck. Oh, we've got a viewer on Facebook too. Hello. Nope. Well, I did have like 15 viewers on it. So hopefully they can find their way over to this new one. I don't know why that stopped like that. I just noticed I wasn't moving on the camera anymore, and then I checked and nothing was running. Anyway, let's paint a bit more while we wait for people to come over. So we're going to want a curve going along here, aren't we? Get rid of a big bit of tip dry. Like so.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, I got you. You got your phone yet?
Yeah.
No. Punch my keyboard. That's always a good thing.
Fluffy shedding seed.
Uh,
Oh, there's fluffs.
Sorry, my daughter just wants my Tesco Club card. 2 seconds. There you go. Alright. Now I'm all good, sweetheart. Thank you. Three viewers on YouTube. 6 viewers on YouTube. Hi. It stopped because I noticed I wasn't there. Yeah, that's what it was, mate. I don't know what happened. I just glanced at the screen and I was frozen, and I checked everything and every camera was frozen. It's probably because I dragged my OBS studio onto my other monitor and back over, and it probably had a fit. Adrian, yes, I think I did. I do believe I did. Yes, I got it, mate. Thank you ever so much for that. You don't have to, but I appreciate it. I'm losing my voice tonight. Got varifocal glasses, losing my voice. I'm doing great. I think just before it crashed, somebody said, "Am I painting a corset?" No, it's the top half of a yellow dress, basically. Where a corset goes though. Hey Steve, sorry about that, mate. I don't know what happened there. My PC had a fit. Everything froze. Mind you, I've been working out hard all day. I've been playing that Starfield game all day today, if anyone knows what that is. It's a good game. I don't know how you send and receive money on YouTube. So the easiest way, under the chat box, is a little $sign in a box. That's called a super chat. So, I'm not saying you should do this. I was telling everybody they don't have to send me money, but just so you know, it's that little box underneath the chat with a little $sign in it. You click on that, select how much money you want to send, you know, from £1 up to however much. I don't know if there's a limit on it. And then you type your message and then hit go, and then you'll get like this pop up asking you to pay for it via PayPal or something. And then yeah, that's how you do it. I asked, thought I recognised the top of a lady. Yeah, you know me. There's always some kind of boobage in my streams. But I'm trying to be a bit more PC because all my artwork keeps getting taken down from social media. So I'm painting something that is safe for work for a change. I upgraded my computer for that game. Nice. I couldn't come cheap, so the game wasn't cheap, and then you upgrade piece for a PC on top of that. That must have stung a bit. I was quite lucky. I say quite lucky. About a year ago, my PC took a big dump, and the motherboard just gave up. So I had to upgrade. So I decided if I was going to do it, I was going to do it properly. And at the time, got the best I could afford, which was a... God, what have I got? 16 gigs of memory. AMD Ryzen 5, I think, 3600. And a hell of a graphics card. The graphics card was the most expensive thing. Something like an Nvidia 2060 or something. It was like 500-600 quid just for the graphics card. And luckily, that was quite close to the recommended specs for Starfield. So give it 6 months and it won't meet the minimum specs anymore. It'll be obsolete again. Because PC spec is good like that. It's good for 6 months and then it goes out of... becomes obsolete. Oh, this might be too watery. I'm having a bit of trouble here. I'm just going to squirt out some of it, and then wherever I put the paint, I'm going to add a bit more paint into it to thicken it up. Am I still moving? Yes, I am. I haven't crashed. Good. Not got the game yet. It's a damn good game. It really is. I was playing it for 14 hours yesterday, and I clocked up what would have been about 10 hours today. I've had a busy couple of days. Yeah, and not one glitch in that whole time. So it's a really nice polished product. They've done well with that. Nothing like the Cyberpunk 2077 launch. That game was diabolical when it started. It's only just now getting to the point where it's a good game. No, the tattoo's still going, mate. I've just had a couple of days off. The tattooing is going crazy busy, which is where I've been for the last month. That's why I haven't been streaming much, because I've been working there until quite late on Saturday, and then by the time I get home and walk the dog and cook dinner for the kids and stuff, then it's getting on for like 9 PM, so there just wasn't time to stream, unfortunately. That's a bit better. Yeah, it's a big distraction, definitely. It's gone a bit bumpy there, the shading. But I'll fix that later. I think I'm going to need to get a darker tone in here in some places. I thought this would be dark enough, but no, I don't think it is. I keep comparing to what I've got on here to what I've got on the monitor. Because sometimes looking at... I don't know if anybody else does that, but if you look at your painting on a screen, or like, you know, it's almost like the same effect of standing back from it. You know, if you look at, like, looking at it first person and then looking at it on the screen, you might spot something that's out of place, like that bit of shading there. On here, you can't really see it. It looks pretty flat and uniform, but on the screen, it looks awful. You've got the little Z thing going on in the middle there, but you can't see that in person. Bumpy boobies, exactly. So sometimes it really does help just to look at something on a screen, or it's like they say, flipping it upside down, or if you're on a tablet in Photoshop or whatever, mirror it, and if it looks odd mirrored, you know that you've done something wrong, you know. It's funny how the human mind works. So I'm just going to do a fade, a great big fade starting from the edge of this centre knot here, just going out that way across the whole thing, because it's going to be curving inwards, isn't it? So we've got to give it that shadow down that edge. Not too much though, because I still want these light parts to be ruffles. just knock back that really bright yellow a bit. Am I working off a template? I've got a light pencil sketch underneath this, and then when I switched screens earlier on, you might have seen a picture that I'm using as a reference for the ruffles, just to get the ruffles right. But other than that, no mate, winging it as always. That's looking alright. Only saw what you're on now. Alright, yeah, I've just got a picture of a yellow dress up on my screen. That's why you keep seeing me either look at what I'm recording on that screen or looking at my reference picture there. Dry. That's one thing I find that increases a lot with humidity. Whoever it was earlier that asked if cold affects the paint. Humidity really gives you a ton of paint tip dry, like loads of it. Trying to paint yesterday and it was like 90% humidity and it was just awful. Like paint for 2 minutes and then spend the next minute picking paint off the tip. So the brightest point on here is going to be about here, at that point there. So that is the only bit of this original yellow that I've got showing there. I've just like when you shade a ball, I've just gone in gradually getting darker and darker as you go down that way. And all I've used for this is the yellow, the injury ochre. If I get my shadow out of the way. Your bloodline injury ochre. That's all I've used over this, and that yellow is the illustration transparent yellow. Poke tea, yeah, poke tea. Sorry, I've probably butchered your name, but thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I will indeed keep it up. I started using distilled water after 43 years. Yeah, I have wondered about distilled water because camera restarting. Don't worry, I am still here. There we go. Yeah, distilled water. I have wondered about using that because I live in a hard water area. There's no soil around here. You dig down like a foot and you've got soil. After that it's just chalk. So I have wondered about that. I remember reading black there. I remember reading a horror story on one of the old airbrushing forums back in the day when forums existed. That guy in the States had painted a guy's fuel tank with water-based, no problems and all that lot. But then 6 months later, the owner comes back to him and says there's something wrong, and there's all like these white crystals underneath the clear coat. It almost looked like snowflakes if you got it at the right angle. There's all this like white crystalline stuff, and took him ages to find out what was going on. But what it turned out it was is he lived in a hard water area as well, and the chalk, he used tap water to reduce his paint, and then when the bike was doing all like the bike shows and all that lot, obviously it was sat outside in I think it was California, so it was like sat in the Californian sunshine all day, hour after hour, and what that had done had taken the chalk that was in his water that he reduced the paint with, it had turned the chalk to crystals. It's just nuts that can happen, isn't it? All he did was use tap water to reduce his paint, and the heat from the sun just crystallised the chalk that was in the paint then. You know, it was minuscule amounts, but it was enough to notice. It was crazy. So I have wondered about using distilled water, but then I didn't bother, and I still use tap water. But I don't do many fuel tanks, so. I have got that Hellraiser bike coming sometime soon. The owner is moving house, so he's hit the pause button on it for now until he's moved, but it should be sometime soon. And for that, I will be using distilled water because I don't want to run the risk. That looks out of focus. Yeah, a little bit. The only downside with using a DSLR camera, I could set it to autofocus, but then all it would do would keep focusing on the back of my hand every time I do that. So I've got it on manual focus, but that means I have to stop and keep refocusing it. I've noticed forums dying off also. Yeah, they're a done thing now, aren't they? It's all Facebook groups these days. But a lot of Facebook pages have been deleted over the last week. Like a lot of the Ghostbusters franchises, like the Ghostbusters of, you know, Hampshire, or the Midlands Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters of London, all that lot. All like costume groups and cosplay groups and stuff. They've all been having their pages removed from Facebook over the last week or so. It's almost like Facebook is having a cull. And I don't know what happens to any page that you've got attached to the group. I'm guessing that will get deleted also. But I really don't like social media these days. Everything's ran by robots. You can't get hold of anybody if anything goes wrong. Defo not in California. Hot in California. You're doing Pinhead and Gang. I am indeed, mate. I am indeed. I won't spoil it by showing you the Photoshop mock-up, but yeah, I'm gonna basically make the whole bike look like it's made out of flesh, and then there's holes ripped in it. So on the top of the tank, there's going to be a hole ripped in it, and you'll see Pinhead and the gang peering out. The front fender is going to have, is it Chatter? The one with the teeth? The front fender is going to have his teeth on the front of it, and the rest of it is going to look like bashed up flesh. And then the rear fender as well is going to have like a big flesh bit on it with a rip on the back of it, and the puzzle box showing from underneath. So it's going to be a fun one, that. I think it flows better. It might also be improving the tip dry. It's possible. It is possible. Don't know. I wonder what the evaporation ratio is for distilled water versus tap water. Because if distilled water took longer to evaporate, then that would improve tip dry drastically. Because that's the problem with tip dry. The air from the airbrush evaporates all the moisture and dries the paint onto your needle. So what you have to do is try and keep it wetter for longer, basically. Which, back in the day, everybody was obsessed with. All the airbrush world was just obsessed with trying to keep your paint wetter for longer, so that you improve tip dry. And there was people adding like Windex to it, various solvents, nail polish remover, you name it, and some of them were getting really ill from breathing this atomized stuff. And I've got to admit, I was one of them. I did get quite obsessed with trying to stop the tip dry monster, but in the end it's just like, you know what, we're using air to propel an air drying paint, so tip dry is going to happen. And as soon as I accepted that, it was almost like an epiphany. As soon as I decided, no, you know what, there's nothing I can do about it, it's just one of those things, it was like I was reborn. The molecular and electrolytic, cool, that's a big word for this time on a Saturday, composition is different. That'll be interesting then. I wonder if distilled water takes longer to evaporate. There was a thing that Bill Edwards, ETAC, there was a thing he did. I can't remember what it was called, but it was this pink liquid. It almost had the consistency of shower gel, and it had like this slightly pink hue to it, and that was incredible. I can't remember what it was called now, but that used to make your paint much wetter for longer. Yeah, for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. I haven't used it in years. I did have a bottle somewhere, but I think it's all dried up. So. But yeah, that was good. I love ETAC. I am a big fan of ETAC. If I had the money, I would kit myself out with nothing but ETAC, because that stuff just flows beautifully, no matter what the weather. Not everyone can get on with the whole rewritable thing of it though. You know, if you spray a bit and then do that, it will all come off on your finger. So not everybody gets along with that. But I did. We've been going for an hour already, blimey. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll have to find out. We'll have to find out the different evaporating times of distilled water versus tap water. I can make a little YouTube video of it. Or a live stream. Have a dollop of tap water and a dollop of distilled water on a plate or something with a fan blowing on it and see which one disappears first. Sure, since some of you may know, my air compressor, the switch on it gave out a couple of months back, and I had to replace the switch. And it's funny, the new switch, when it turns on, it's a lot quieter than the old one. The old one used to go with quite a big clunk, and then the compressor would start. This new one goes with quite a subtle little click. But because it's a completely different tone, it makes me jump. So I've got used to the big old noisy clunk of the old switch, and it never used to make me jump. I got used to it. But now I've changed it, and now it's just a really slight little click. It makes me jump again. I need to get used to it again. I miss that old switch. Yeah, I do. Yeah. That old noisy clunky switch, bless it. It used to have a it was a button that you've got the black switch box on the compressor, and it was a button that you had to pull up to turn the compressor on or push it down to turn it off. The new one is a twist one, and I just keep going to turn the compressor on. I grab the switch and pull on it and nothing happens. I keep forgetting it's twist now. It's funny how you get used to stuff, isn't it? Mind you, that switch did well. I mean, Christ, I bought that compressor many years ago. I was in the Shedio when I bought that compressor. She has served me well, bless her. She has squirted many, many cubic feet of paint over the years. I've got a portrait of Jack Sparrow to do, I just remembered. Let me just see when that is. It's a tattoo, it's not airbrushing. When is that? 2 weeks time. That'll be fun. I don't know why that just popped in my head, but that's going to be fun, that one. I'm looking forward to that. I don't get much call for portraits. My daughter. Yeah. Yeah, I don't get a lot of call for portraits in the tattooing. So when one comes along, it's a bit special. Have to make sure I rig up the old camera for that one and do the old time-lapse thing. Because there's a massive ball lake, I don't normally bother. Yeah, I was in the shit with my missus when I bought my compressor. It's paid for itself now, though. The same, mate. Yeah. Mine's the Bambi one. The 50-litre Bambi one. It was like 700 and something when I bought it. Pushing 800 quid. Yeah, that was a few guitars, that was. But, yeah, it's more than paid for itself now. And it's quiet, which is good, because, like I say, I'm in the dining room here, so when Bex is home, she's only 20 feet away watching TV, so it's got to be quiet. The compressor I had before this one was like a builder's type thing, and it was like 92 decibels or something. You could hear that one down the road. I'd never get away with using that now. But that was great for using with spray guns. The Bambi isn't so good with spray guns. The compressors can't keep up. But I can just about clear a guitar with a 50-litre tank. Just about. It gives the poor compressor motors time to cool down a bit. There's a video going around on Facebook recently, wasn't there? They said it was a car. What was it? An electric car exploding. But when you track down the actual video and what happened, it was actually the guy's air compressor exploding. Like one of those big industrial jobbies with the vertical tank and that lot. And yeah, it was actually his air compressor that exploded. Those things go with a hell of a bang. What nozzle and PSI am I using? So I am using my Iwata HB. Look at me. I'm using my Iwata CMSB Micron. I think this has a 1.5 nozzle in it, I believe, if memory serves. And I've got 30 PSI on the compressor, but this dials it down. So I would probably say around 25 PSI, I guess. Because the Micron reduces the air pressure a bit. But yeah, 30 PSI at the tank. So probably about 25 at the brush. To be fair, I don't need the Micron for this. I could do this with the bigger one. It's just, this is the airbrush I had to hand, so. I started off with a small double burst piston compressor. It used to get too hot to touch and I could only use it when my mum and dad were at the house. Wow. I had a you know, the little oil-free ones that you get, and they've got like the 1 litre tank on them and stuff like that. I had one of them, one of those little compressors, but I had a 2 litre tank on it, and it was like in this square frame thing. And that was brilliant. It was really quiet, and because it was using air from a tank, it was like a nice constant steady stream of air, not like the pulsing you get with some of them and that lot. Excuse me. But that got really hot. I ended up rigging up a little fan and attached it to the square frame, so it was blowing down on the motor the whole time, and that was brilliant. That could just go for hours on end as soon as I put the little fan on it. That was superb, that thing. COVID. Not. I see they tried to make COVID in the news again last week. They're like, oh, COVID cases are on the rise. We're going to die. I make a habit of not watching the news anymore. I certainly won't be doing any lockdowns if ever they want me to do them again. They can jog on to keep it polite. I'm never doing that shit again. Still paying for it now, as I'm sure lots of people are. Yeah, you would hope, wouldn't you? It will just evolve, and then we'll all end up dying again, probably. Do you run good water traps? Thinking of heat and condensing. Do you know what? I don't. I used to have one on the bottom of this because I got the old quick release there, and I used to have a water trap there, but it got in the way, so I got rid of it. It's like the Mac valve. I got a Mac valve there, but I never use it. I do have a moisture trap on the compressor. Just a built-in one that comes with the compressor. But that's my only water trap. I haven't, touch wood, I haven't had a problem with moisture in my airlines or anything thus far. Now I've said that, I've jinxed it, haven't I? That was pretty cool. Good up. Right, the knotty bit in the middle. In all the years I've ever had moisture in my trap, only when I was a panel sprayer and the factory I worked in was all run off compressed air, a massive compressor. Ah. Yeah, I used to, back in the days of Organic Image and Beach Curtis, I used to paint with him down at a custom paint shop called Customised Perfection down in Southampton. And he had a big old compressor down there. And we used to have loads of problems with the moisture out of that. It was terrible. Anybody saw I left seeing you with a set of boobs, and now again. Seems. You know me. If it ain't got boobs, I don't want to paint it. Yeah, but yeah, I've only ever had problems with moisture on bigger compressors, industrial jobs. I always remember I did a bit of work for a company called Altamura in the UK. They were down in Camberley. They were like a motorcycle custom paint shop. They don't exist anymore. They're a victim of COVID. I think they've shut down. But their compressor was the biggest I've ever seen in my life, and the moisture trap on it was the size of a bucket. And we used to have to empty that thing every day. Just saw a couple of bits I missed up top there. Right, middle knot. So it's going to be curving that way, like that. So it needs to be darker at the bottom to give us that illusion of it being curved. Need to get the tip dry off the end of the needle so that the paint comes out. That's better. Like so. Is it on camera? Yeah, you can. Sorry, my daughter. Just make sure it's nothing important. I know, to my wife. But not for me. I better put my phone on silent. We got a group chat in the in WhatsApp. We've got a little family group chat. My wife and my daughter are currently having a conversation. So I'll put my phone on silent. I have a dry tap and then I fill it with coffee. I'm not a coffee guy, me. I'm a tea guy. I'm very British. I drink tea. I stick my finger out when I drink it as well. Someone pointed out that I do that when I tattoo recently. You know the whole British thing where you hold a cup, your little finger's sticking out like that. Apparently I do that when I tattoo. When I'm stretching the skin with this hand, I stretch it out, but then my little finger's up like that. I've become very conscious about it now. I wish you could do fades like that with a tattoo machine. It'd be so much easier, you know. It is so hard to do a nice fade with a tattoo machine, but with an airbrush it's so much easier. Yep. It's good. Upper class tattoo artist, yeah. My little finger is anyway. Not sure about the rest of it. Poor little sensor in my camera, getting all hot. That's why it turns off. My CMOS sensor or whatever they call it in my DSLR. To stop it overheating, it restarts itself. That's why the screen keeps getting black every now and then. I'm still weighing up whether this DSLR is the way to go or whether I should go back to my camcorder. I really don't know which one to do. The DSLR technically would have much better image quality, but as I'm only streaming at my broadband will only let me stream at 720p, so is it really worth it? The camcorder has a much better zoom on it. I might switch back next week and see what happens. I mainly switched because I didn't know how to turn the autofocus off. So, like I mentioned earlier, it just kept focusing on the back of my hand all the time. Where is your visual source from? My reference picture is just some model on a catwalk wearing a yellow dress. I just googled the yellow frilly dress and this one popped up, so. I am taking a bit of artistic license with it though. Like the photo is like lit from the front because it's all flash photography, but I'm going to add shadows down this side sort of thing, so the light source is over here and that sort of thing. Just a visual aid rather than copying it like for like, you know. Always an art trying to get the ruffles to look convincing, I find. Very easy to take it too far and then not have it look like look believable, you know. I'm thinking of getting an Osmo DJI-4. Recording with my iPhone, but it was not how I expected it to turn out. Yeah, the trouble with iPhones is they haven't got. They're 72 DPI. You know, you got all these megapixels and all that lot, but at the end of the day, it's still 72 DPI. That's why when you take a camera phone picture or whatever and you enlarge it, it just goes pixelated to hell. Which is why you use the DSLRs, because they are full. I don't know what DPI they run at, but you know, it's through the roof. Whereas camera phones, from what I understand it anyway, I could be wrong, but from what I understand it, camera phone cameras, despite however many megapixels they've got, they are still 72 DPI. Which confused me for a while, because I thought surely the higher the megapixel, the more pixels they are. But apparently not. I don't know how true that is of the most recent camera phones, because, you know, I've got a couple of mates who've got the latest iPhone, and the video quality on that is just insane. But then when they take a picture and you enlarge it, it looks horrible. It's weird. That's it. DSLR have much bigger sensors, because they just haven't got the room for it all in a camera phone. You do have to be careful what DSLR you get, though, because not all of them are capable of doing video. Like this one, for instance, I can record video on it, but it's not actually built for streaming. So I have it switched to video mode, and then I've got a little bit of software I've put on it that stops it shutting off, and I'm just streaming what should be on the back of the screen on the camera straight to my computer, and it's just displaying that. So I had to turn off all my focusing and all the settings and all that, because you would see it all over the screen. It would stream it. Like if I hit the menu button, look at all that. Look, I have to turn all that lot off, because otherwise it would show up on stream, because it wasn't built for streaming, this camera at all. So you have to be careful which one you get. Make sure it is capable of doing streaming. That's the one. Yeah, Magic Lantern. Yep. I whacked that on there and it managed to get rid of all that crud on the screen. It also stopped it from turning off, because it had an auto shut off. Really dry throat today. And the focus box, that little square box that was in the middle of the screen, Canon software will not let you turn that off. Magic Lantern does though, so yeah. I whacked Magic Lantern on there pretty quick. It makes me laugh because in Magic Lantern on the settings screen there's a setting that says do not touch. And it's like, why put it there? You know, you're just tempting people. I'm one of those people that if someone tells me not to touch it, I'm tempted to. My son uses Canon, he loves them. Yeah, I didn't know which one to go for. I bought that when I started dabbling in photography. I never bought that to be a streaming camera. And my dad was a big photography buff back in the day, before digital. I always remember when I was a little kid, he had the spare room upstairs set up as a dark room. And he always said, you know, if the red light is on outside, then do not go in that room, you know. I always remember it stinking of chemicals in there and stuff. But he always used a Canon. He's still got it now, actually. Not his original one, but he's got a God, what is it? I can't remember what camera it is, but it's a good like 20 years old. They still sell for stupid money as well, which is quite surprising. I always remember when I was little, there was this picture my dad had taken of a steam train. We're very lucky here. We've got a working steam railway half a mile that way. For anyone in the know, it's the Watercress line that Thomas the Tank Engine is on. Yeah, he went down there and he took this black and white picture of a steam train with all the steam bellowing out from underneath it. Looked really spooky, but then he put his face over the moon. He before digital, so he had to get like a picture of his face, cut out the negative, and then stick it over the moon and that lot. But he did it in such a way that it just looked really freaky. I always remember that picture gave me nightmares for ages. It's funny because I see it now because I saw it. When was it? Last year, when I was up in their loft getting something for them or something, and I came across a box of all this old photography and that lot, and that picture was in there. It doesn't look scary at all now. But mad respect for, something that would take me 5 seconds in Photoshop now. Back then they would have to take the photo and then physically chop up the negatives and do like a collage and then redevelop that one so you'd have a picture with the effects in it. Like it's like is it rotoscoping that they call it? Like in, for example, Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, the proton streams that come out of their guns, they were rotoscoped, which is where I've got it right, they paint directly onto the negatives. So they employ an artist to sit there with all the negatives and physically paint it frame by frame. It's crazy how digital, like Photoshop and After Effects and all that lot, just made things so much quicker. How are we doing? 20 to 9, okie dokie. Proving to be a bit of a time vampire, this bit. I thought we'd have this done by now, but it's taken a bit longer than I thought. It's actually quite in depth. You know, when you look at something and think, oh yeah, that won't take long, and then it actually does. Especially when you have to keep stopping to pick tip dry off of your bloody needle. To 3 PM Viper Sniper. Oh, where in the world are you, mate? Just out of interest. Dread FX, evening, buddy. How's life, mate? All good, I hope. No doubt big trout. Evening, bud. Manitoba, Canada. Wow. I don't think I've got anybody else in Canada who watches. I could be wrong. I always thought you were further behind than that. Wow. You learn something new every day. Why have you started pulsing? I see. Big gob of paint on my needle, that'll do it. One good thing about airbrushing is when your husky farts, you can blow it away from you. And if you get too hot, you can shove it up a t-shirt and just don't pull the trigger back. Are you going to the UK airbrush meeting commentary? Me? I'd love to, but I can't make it, unfortunately. I would desperately love to go, but sadly, no. I got work. I will make it one year. Because I haven't seen a lot of them people since I did the custom culture blast off, which was a good few years ago. They're a lovely bunch of guys. The whole airbrush scene is really. I've never really, in all the years I've been airbrushing, I've never really met anybody who's a hole. They're all really nice, genuine people. A nice community to be part of, you know. Not like the tattoo industry. There were some proper assholes in the tattoo industry. Lots of egos too. You don't get that with airbrushing either. I did it in 2012. Good times, great bunch of guys and girls. Yeah, they really are. A lovely bunch. Had the chance to start with Mickey Sharp in the 80s, but the bikers scared the crap out of me. Wow. What, the Mickey Sharp? Wow. That was the first tattoo machine I ever owned. The Mickey Sharps. Still going now. His coil machines are considered the one, you know, to learn on, and that will last you your whole tattoo career. But I switched to one of those new fandangled rotary machines for my tattooing because I was starting to get, is it tinnitus? I'm not sure what they call it when you get a high-pitched tone in your ear the whole time. I was getting that from my coil tattoo machine just going brrr in my ear all day, every day. So I switched to a rotary because it's nice and quiet. Tinnitus. Thank you. Don't know where I got tinnitus from. Started making his own inks at that time. I repainted the brickwork on his shop. Oh, wow. Yeah, some of them are very dangerous. The paper I'm using is just a piece of A3 Bristol board. It's just I got the pad here to show you. I picked it up at the last Custom Culture Blast off I went to, actually. It was funny because there was a company there that was dishing out loads of pads of Bristol board. They were just dishing them out left, right and centre, just giving them to anybody who would have one. And everybody said it was crap. But I've never had a problem with it. I've got the pad up here somewhere. Oh, do you know what? I've never actually noticed what make it is. It's Winsor & Newton. But yeah, they were dishing these out at a Custom Culture Bra stuff, and everybody said that they were crud. And they were all giving me their pads. So I came home with like 20 of these one day, and I'm down to my final 2. But that's what it is. Just extra smooth surface drawing pad. Yeah, just A3 Bristol board by Winsor & Newton. I didn't actually know it was Winsor & Newton. I've had it for years and I've never actually noticed. I'm even more impressed now then. Winsor & Newton aren't cheap, are they? But yeah, everybody was like, have you tried this paper everyone's dishing out? It's crud, isn't it? And I was like, well, I'll give it a go. And I liked it, so everybody was like, I think it was Dennis Matheson, I think. He was at that show. And he was like, no, I don't like it. Here you go. And he gave me it. And then the guy who was standing with was like, yeah, I don't like it either. Here you go. And I ended up with a pile of them on my table. I don't know if they're getting old or not though, because my last paint in that Supergirl one I did, I noticed this is Ultra Mask, and it's very low tack. But I noticed on that Supergirl painting, I was having loads of trouble with it ripping up the surface. I don't know if the paper's getting old or my my Ultra Mask is getting old and the glue's starting to go off a bit or something, I don't know, but the first time I've ever had any issues with it. But I was having major trouble with that Supergirl painting. Why you no spray? That's why you no spray. Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
It's still really hot and humid out there.
Yeah, I'm suffering in here. You can feel it with the paint as well. It gets harder to spray when it's too humid.
I have the fan on these.
Yeah.
The Would you like a tea?
Or would I?
Hi, Maggie. You're not having
Yay,
one.
my daughter's come home with tea cakes. Yay.
You're not having one. His eyes are huge.
Yeah, you can't have them, mate. They're chocolate. Thanks. Chocolate and Huskies does not mix.
I got some chocolate ice cream too.
Ooh.
Chocolate
Ooh.
Ben and Jerry's.
Nice. Ben and Jerry's, that couldn't have been cheap.
Yeah, but it cost me £6.
Oh, that's not bad.
The bag, tea cake, and ice cream.
Oh, that's quite cool. Cheers, Steve.
Thanks, baby.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's not this week, is it? We're gonna have a boiling hot few days apparently. Soaked up weatherman says.
I found the crow feather from Mum the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Alright.
And how it was created.
So you and Mum going for a walk tomorrow evening, eh? Yeah.
Be able to that far.
If not, I can always jump in the car and come and pick her up. You can always tell when she gets... Sorry guys, just having a chat with my daughter on stream. You can always tell when she's getting too tired because she starts to veer off to one side. Like really badly. Yeah. But yeah, if she if you notice she's starting to walk like a drunk, give me a shout, I'll come and pick her up. Yeah, there's plenty of sausages going. He doesn't chew, he's a husky. He just swallows food whole. You should know that, surely. You know when you look at something and you think that needs a bit more, but then you don't want to take it too far? I'm at that stage. Like, it needs more down here, definitely, but like more in the way of shape. It looks like a crumpled up bin liner at the moment rather than a bit of fabric that's like scrunched up that way but also curving that way. And at the same time, I want to have a rim light from this side, so I don't want to take the shade in too far dark up to the edge. Lots of little micro tweaks. She's gone now. We were just discussing my wife and her MS ailments. She wants to go for a walk down the river. We got a nice river running through the town we live in. She wants to go for a walk down there. Not the river, sorry. No, she's going to the golf course. There's a lovely bit of land up by the golf course that's got the old... Is it the bridle way they call it? The old rights of way for walkers and ramblers and that sort of thing. She wants to go for a walk up there, but to get there is a hell of a walk from here. So we're just going to see how she goes, because she's She suffers with extreme fatigue and stuff. Look, you on the air hose, you muppet. There you go. It's Husky Pee o'clock. There you go. Right. Oh, that's nice cool air coming in there. That's lovely. And moths. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. It's funny how just doing a simple little thing can make the world of difference. Like I was saying, it looked like it needed something here. And then I've just added a fade going dark here, lighter that way. And it's made all the difference. Still needs a bit more in there, but yeah, much happier with that now. Like clockwork, yeah, look at that, 9 o'clock. Yeah. He won't come back in now either. I'll have to go out there and try and find him in the dark in a minute. At least he doesn't have me out there at 1 AM trying to find his favourite toy anymore, though he did that a few times when he was younger. That's always fun. Out there with a torch in my jammies trying to find his favourite cuddly toy because he wouldn't stop barking. Good times. Okay, I'm going to call it there then. I must go put the kettle on. Get a cup of tea ready for the missus when she gets home. So, that's cool. But yeah, that's all good. We will continue with this next week. I'm just debating whether it's safe enough to leave this Ultra mask on until next week, or if I should peel it off and put some fresh stuff on closer to stream time next week, just so that that glue doesn't end up welding itself to the Bristol board. I don't know. I'll ponder that. But in the meantime, you guys take care. Thanks for joining me again. And sorry I had a month off. It just got awfully busy. But I promise I'll be back next Saturday. One of these buttons is my ending screen. There it is. I do this every week. I can never find it. So take it easy. I'll catch you later. And cheerio.